Michelle. I'm a health and nutrition coach and diabetes practitioner near Manchester in the UK, and I post these videos to help motivate you to be as healthy and happy as you can be. And at the end of my videos I always share a little bit about my crafting. I'm into knitting and crocheting and sometimes a little bit of drawing, and after that I just share some footage, videos, photos of things that I've been up to last week. And today I thought, as we're coming towards the end of the year, how did that happen? You might be reflecting on the past 12 months or 11 months and maybe feeling a little bit disappointed that you didn't quite achieve everything you wanted to achieve this year, or what you hoped for. And if that's you, then don't be hard on yourself, don't beat yourself up. Especially working on your health goals takes a lot of time and energy, and life can easily get in the way between work, family and everything else on the to-do list and everything else going on in your life. It can feel like there's just not enough hours in a day to do all that stuff. But here's something that I've learned, and it's not always about having more time. It's about being more intentional with the time and the attention that you already have. Just make better use of that. And so in today's video, I'd like to share a few powerful questions that you can ask yourself to help you refocus on what really matters, what's really important, and it will help you to simplify and realign your energy with what really matters, and then you're more likely to get the results that you want. And these questions can help you to shake you out of a rut that you may be stuck in, or just generally help to get you unstuck and give you a little bit more clarity and a little bit more calm in your ways. So grab a pen and a notebook and let's dive in. Question number one is, what are the top 3 most important priorities for your health right now? When it comes to improving your health, it's really easy to fall into a busy health mode. You read a lot of articles, Instagram posts, you try new supplements, you follow new influencers, and maybe you jump from one diet trend to another. But without clear focus, all that effort can be very scattered. So this first question is really important. What are your top 3 most important priorities when it comes to your health? Not 10 things, not everything you wish you could do, but just the top 3 most important ones. Maybe for you it's to improve your sleep, or maybe it is to lose weight, or maybe it's to get your blood glucose levels under control, or move your body a bit more regularly. But it could also be reducing stress, or eating more whole, real, unprocessed foods, making time to cook meals from scratch. Whatever they are, write them down. Seeing them on paper can really help you to focus on energy and attention, and it gets you to start thinking about what it is you need to do to address these priorities. So the next thing is, for each of these 3 priorities, think of a few small, specific actions that you can take this week. For example, if your priority is better sleep, maybe you can set yourself no screen time after 9 p.m. rule. Or if your goal is to move more, maybe you can set an intention to go for a 10-15 minute walk after lunch 3 times a week. If your focus is blood glucose management, then maybe decide to add more protein into your meals. They're just tiny specific actions, but these actions will turn your goals into reality. And when you focus on 3 priorities and not 13 or 20, you'll find it much easier to stay focused, and then you're going to be more consistent, and then you're going to be more successful. And consistency will always beat perfection. Question number 2 that you can ask yourself to get a little bit more focused and intentional is, what are the 1 to 3 most common distractions that can stop me from doing what I want to and need to do? The truth is, even if we know what's important, we can always get distracted, and we can, easily pull away from what we actually need to do or want to do. So the next question is, what are these most common distractions that can stop me from doing what I need to do? And these distractions could be things like WhatsApp messages all the time, emails constantly popping up, scrolling social media and get distracted when you think you're going to do it for 1 minute and suddenly you've been doing it for an hour, or even just overcommitting to things that you don't really want to do. But once you've identified your top distractions, then you can ask yourself, how can I reduce or remove these distractions? And so, for example, you can turn off notifications on certain WhatsApp groups or social media apps, or you can block off dedicated time slots to scroll, and then you're a little bit more intentional and there's less chance of you just wasting hours doing that when you didn't plan to do that. You can batch emails instead of checking your inbox every 10 minutes. You can again set aside some time once or twice a day to check your emails. You can put your phone in another room when you want to focus on something else, something that you don't need your phone for, so you're not getting distracted, or put it on do not disturb mode. You can create focus zones. For example, you can create a no social media zone, so maybe not go on social media before midday or until after lunch, or you can make up your own rules, but they're just small boundaries that you can set yourself that can make a huge difference. And focus is a little bit like a muscle. It gets stronger the more you train it. So the more you train your attention span, the stronger it will become. And when you can reduce those distractions, then you gain energy and clarity that you didn't even know you had. Question number 3 to think about is, what's one healthy limit that I can start setting in my life this week? Again, it's all about boundaries. When I talk about setting limits, it's not about restriction, it's about creating space for what matters the most. We live in a world of constant input of emails, notifications, news, podcasts, messages, and there's always something that demands your attention. So this week, ask yourself, what is one healthy sort of boundary or limit that I can start setting in my life? And here are just a few ideas to get you going. You could limit your daily input of emails or newsletters. You don't have to listen to every podcast under the sun. You don't have to join every conversation, get involved with everything you're exposed to. Choose a few sources that inspire you, that make you feel good, and let the rest go for a while. 2, limit your email checking. If you get distracted by emails, and don't keep checking them all the time, or have an alert and then every time an email comes in go into it, because that can lead to you having to take action based on that email, and then you could be distracted for a long time. So maybe block off some time where you just go through emails, and then you will have much more energy and focus left to do the things that you want to do. Number 3 is to limit your social activities. Obviously, it's good to have social activities, but maybe start by writing down all your current commitments outside of work, social commitments, clubs, committees, classes, etc. And then have a look and see if there are any that no longer light you up or serve you. And it's perfectly okay to say no, or not now. And every time you say yes to something, you potentially say no to something else that you could be doing, and it's worth remembering that before you say yes to something. So make sure that your yeses are always aligned with your values, things that you want to achieve and things that you want to put your energy into. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish. It is really about being effective, intentional and balanced. Another question that you can think about to regain energy and focus for the stuff that you want to do is to ask yourself, what is one unnoticed or misused pocket of free time in my day? And you'll be surprised how many of those you can have. It's a real game changer. Even if your days feel really busy and really packed, there are always small moments of hidden time that can be put to better use without adding more to your schedule. So your schedule stays the same, but it's these sort of little pockets of time. For example, travel time, or when you're commuting or traveling, if you're waiting in a queue, if you're sitting in the car while your kids are doing an activity and you're waiting for them, or if you're waiting for an appointment, or the times where you are scrolling on your phone. Those are just little chunks of 5 to 10 minutes where you could be doing something productive. What could you do instead in those little moments that will make you feel better or even help you to move closer to your goals? Maybe you could listen to a short health podcast or an audio book whilst you're waiting. Maybe you can do some breathing exercises or a short mindfulness practice. Maybe you can write a few lines in a food journal or a gratitude journal. Maybe you can go for a little walk so you get some more movement into your day. Or, like me, carry something small, a creative project, like a knitting project. I always have a small knitting project in my bag. So if I have to wait for something, I can pick that up and do a few rows. If you commute 20 minutes each day, that's over 160 hours every year. That's a lot of time. That's enough time to read dozens of books, listen to inspiring talks, or learn something new. So rather than wishing for more time, look for these hidden little pockets of time that you may already have. So to wrap things up then, a recap of the 4 questions that I talked about. 1, what are your top 3 priorities for your health right now? What are the 1 to 3 biggest distractions that can stop you from focusing on those priorities and do what you need to do? Number 3 is, what is one healthy limit or boundary that I can set this week? And question number 4 was, what is one unnoticed hidden little pocket of time in my day that I can put to good use? And of course, these 3 questions are not really just for the end of the year. You can do them anytime when you feel a little bit off track or a little bit overwhelmed, or you're sort of a little bit doing stuff but it's all a little bit disjointed and aimlessly. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's more about doing what matters. And even small shifts in focus can really help you to, it can transform how you feel, and that can make a big difference in your behaviour then, for your health, for your energy, and most of all for your peace of mind. If you found this video interesting or useful, then give me the thumbs up, or maybe even subscribe to my channel. I got comments in my last video that the sound was a little bit soft, or how do you call that, a bit low. I did check it before I did this one and it sounded okay to me, but please do let me know if it still doesn't sound good. Then maybe I will think about investing in a microphone, because that's annoying if you can't hear me properly. I could put my earbuds in, but I find that a little bit annoying and it looks a bit weird, so I prefer probably a microphone. But do let me know if it was still pants, then I'll address the problem. If you like my videos, please give me a like or a hype, whatever that is, or even better, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to set yourself one little goal this week. What is the one thing that you're going to do this week that's going to help you to be healthier and happier? It could be ask yourself one of these questions that I spoke about today. It could be something completely different. But think about one little thing that you can do this week and just crack on with that and keep doing that week after week. And slowly but gradually your health will improve, and you will start to create healthy habits that will lead to big achievements. If you're interested in my crafting, then do stay on, but if not, then thank you so much for watching, and maybe I'll see you again in my video next week, and have a wonderful week. If you're still here, then you probably want to hear about my crafting this week. And it's been mostly still working on the vest top, or tank top, whatever you want to call it. I am nearly there now, but I was hoping that actually I would have it finished today, and I didn't. But yeah, the back panel is done, and so all I need to do here is put the top, the top, what's it called, the collar on, which is going to be in that same collar as the bottom. And then you can see the armholes here, they will also need that edge on. And so now I am just finishing the top. I've started the decreases, so it goes in like that. And then, yeah, definitely next week, hopefully it's done. I am getting a little bit bored with it, which, yeah, I don't know, you shouldn't really with a project that doesn't even have sleeves, but I sort of want to have it finished now, and I was hoping that I had, but it still took a little bit longer. Yeah, I had to pay some attention to the decreases, especially when you have to keep the pattern going as well, and to do decreases at the same time. Then you have to be very, very careful. And there was again a little bit of knitting backwards involved. So yeah, looking forward to wearing it now. Have I learned anything more? No, probably not. Nothing new. I do like colour work, and I'm definitely going to do more of it, that's for sure. Then I chose to do a little project. One of my nieces had a baby a little bit earlier than expected, so I didn't have my arse in gear to knit a little something. I was thinking maybe a little baby hat or something else, and then I remembered I had this pattern, which I did just look it up, and it's not available anymore. I don't know why, but I got it up. I think I bought it off Ravelry, or maybe it was even a free pattern, and it's called Perfect Newborn Socks. But if you look it up on Ravelry, let me just find the exact name. Also, let me put my goggles on so I can see what I'm doing. Then maybe even by looking at them, if you are a sock knitter, then I think from looking at the pattern you will see how they're done. Perfect Newborn Socks, they're called. I will put the link in the description, so you can have a look at it, and maybe by searching somewhere else you can still find it somewhere else. Maybe they're even online. But it is by Tabitha Gandhi, and it's a tiny little baby sock, and it's knitted top down. I normally knit my own socks toe up, not what do you call the other way? Toe up, or I don't know what it's called, but you know what I mean. I start at the toe, but this one starts at the top, and the leg first, I think it's called. And what I really liked about it, and I'd never done before, is the cast on is a German twisted cast on, and I had never heard of it before, and I looked it up and really love it. It creates quite a stretchy cast on, but not too stretchy. And sometimes when I knit my socks, actually there's one hanging there behind me, actually in the same yarn, funny enough, because I made it with a leftover yarn. It said salvable. I find that sometimes if you try to keep it stretchy, so if I knit from the toe up, I would do a stretchy bind off, but it can sometimes be too stretchy and then it sort of stands out a little bit. But this is perfect, and I really, really, really like it, even to the point that I might start doing my socks from the top down, so I can use that cast on. I don't mind doing the Kitchener stitch when I get to the bottom, not at all, so I might as well. Most patterns actually for socks tend to be top down. So super cute little sock, yeah, I'm most excited about learning a new cast on that I will use in other projects as well. That's always nice when you can try it out on tiny little projects. So these nearly done with the second one, so these little socks will go in the post, and I better hurry up because little babies grow so fast. They might not even fit anymore by the time they get there. So that was actually all the knitting I've done this week, which again doesn't really look a lot, but yeah, I do knit every day. I think the collar work just takes quite a bit longer than non-collar work knitting, that's for sure. Then I have done a little bit of swatching, which is also knitting, so that does take time as well. And this is for the Ooey Gooey jumper by Andrea Mowry that I'm going to knit next. And I'm actually, yeah, I'm dying to cast it on because I'm a little bit bored with the tank top. And I've already shown you in a previous video the yarn I'm going to use. Actually, I wasn't sure at that point whether I was going to use the pink and the grey, but I've decided to use these colours. And thank you for commenting on my videos and suggesting that one was preferred to the pink one. So that's going to be the Ooey Gooey, that's the main colour, and then the colouring in the yoke and on the sleeves will be in this colour, and that is the Ulysses yarn from, what are they called again? This is the colour Gannet, and I need to rip it off now too. It's the Rerum Natura or something, I keep forgetting the name. It's called, let me just take this off. That's why I said it wasn't. It's called, yeah, the Rerum Natura. That's the yarn that I'm going to use for that. And I did some swatching. I do now tend to do swatching for all my projects because it's just so frustrating when you start knitting and then you find out towards the end that the fit isn't what you wanted or doesn't even fit. You have to start all over again. So to get the gauge, Andrea Mowry uses a sport weight, which I always find a little bit tricky because it's in between fingering and DK, and I'm not that sort of used to knitting with sport weight. And her gauge is 20, what was it? 24 stitches. And when I did the gauge on the swatch on the suggested needles, which are 3.5mm needles, I thought it looked very dense, and so I wasn't sure whether the drape would be good on that. It's quite tight, and the gauge didn't work. It was 28 stitches for 10 centimeters when it should have been 24. So then I calculated whether I could choose a different size to use the same needles, still use the 3.5mm needle. And so I did a calculation, which you can do by taking your gauge, so 28 was my gauge, and you times that by the chest circumference that you want to achieve, and then you divide that by the pattern's gauge, which was 24, and then it came out that I had to knit a size 5, and I didn't really want to knit a size 5, so I normally knit a size 3, but for this one 4 was slightly more than the chest circumference that I wanted, but I'd rather have this one a little bit loose fitting. So I decided to up the needle, and then I think it looks nicer. So I went for a size 4 needle, and I only did a little bit because I'm not really that worried about the height, because it's a top down knitted jumper, so you can adjust the height. You can keep going or stop when you're happy with the height, and I just think it looks nicer, not so super dense. You see the difference? And yeah, I pretty much achieved gauge with that. It was actually slightly under now, it was 22, 23, but that's fine because the chest circumference was a bit bigger than I wanted it to be anyway. It all becomes very sort of confusing in your head when you try to work out if my gauge is a larger number, should I go for a smaller or bigger size, but I think I've worked it out, and I've got gauge now, so I don't need to change the size. So excited to start with that. The only sad thing is that I told you about these Addy knitting needles that I bought in Loop, London, and these are the classic lace, and they're not interchangeable, and I really like them, nearly more than the Chalgu interchangeables. It's a really smooth transition from the cord to the needle, and so I was really looking forward to knitting with that, but I bought the needles that gave me the gauge that wouldn't give me the right fit. So very naughty, but I ordered more because I really like those needles. I do have other needles. I couldn't use my Chalgus because I've got other projects on those needles or on the cable, so I didn't have the cable. I do have another interchangeable set of wooden needles, and I don't mind knitting with wooden needles, and this is one that I bought on a yarn fair in Holland, and these are called, the make is Sea Knit, and I think it is, so you think you can see it just at the bottom, Sea Knit. I think it's Japanese, and I think they're very high quality. They have a very thin cable, and I think maybe even too thin, because what I think happens is that it makes the transition from the cable to the needle, it's a massive difference between a tiny little cable goes into the cable goes into the needle, and the project gets stuck all the time. Super annoying. So yeah, I'm actually to the point that I don't really reach for those. It's a shame because it was quite a pricey set and it looks gorgeous. But yeah, maybe it's the yarn I'm using because I quite like sort of rustic yarn. It looks gorgeous. It's got these needles in, and it's a beautiful little, what do you call it, holder that it's in. But yeah, I think, thinking about it, I think the cable is too thin. If you compare that with, where is the, here's the Addy one. You can see that the Addy cable is much thicker. So looking forward now to getting the other Addies, and then I'll definitely start with my Ooey Gooey jumper. So that was it for arts and crafts, but what I want to do is a little, feels like a bit of chemistry experiment. I showed in one of my previous videos that I bought this in a charity shop, and I think it is natural yarn, not a synthetic yarn, but I'm not sure. There's no information anywhere, and it is a lace weight, I'm pretty sure. And one of my lovely viewers explained how you can find out what kind of yarn it is, but it's a little bit scary because I will have to light it. And I'm just thinking there's no fire alarm here, which is probably good because I don't want a fire alarm to go off. So what she suggested was to light with a lighter a bit of the yarn, and if it smells of scorched hair, and you can easily sort of, what do you call it, break it up, then it's wool. If it's synthetic, then it will burn very, very quickly and it becomes a hard little ball. And if it's viscose or linen, then it will smell like a campfire. So what I'm going to do, I've got a bit here, so I'm just going to do that on camera. Hopefully this is not going to be one of these videos that is going to end up being viral for all the wrong reasons, because I'm going to set myself on fire. I've decided to do it in a bowl to stay safe. Right, so set it on fire. I don't know if you can see that. I'm a little bit worried about this actually. No, let's just do it. How about water? No, let's just do it. Go. Let's make it smaller. I'm getting a bit nervous. I haven't done this before, as you may notice. This is just a tiny little bit. What's the worst thing that can happen? There we go. Oh, okay. It does burn quite quickly, so let me just show you. In fact, it doesn't really burn that well. It always gets smaller and smaller. Goes like that. Wait till it's cooled down a little bit. So what did she say? If it smell of burned hair? Not really. It actually smells a bit synthetic. If it's in it burned very quickly and it becomes a hard ball. Oh, it is hard. It is synthetic. Who would have guessed? Yeah, because you can't also, it doesn't break up, it just stays together. Good tip to find out. Thank you for that. So yeah, it's obviously some synthetic material, which is sort of a shame, but I still like it. The colour is really nice. It still looks very natural, but hey ho. Right, that was it for my crafting. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely week, and I hope you can do something creative. Oh, talking about that, I have subscribed to a free month of creative inspiration by Bonny. What's her name? I need to quickly look that up now. She is the person that I did a drawing week with before that costed £10, I think, but it was well worth, where you in 1 week did a drawing together. And she's an amazing pencil artist and instructor, so I found her classes really helpful. And just looking up, it's Bonny Snowdon. I will put a link down below, and it is called, she's got an app now and it's called Spark, and her thing this month is that she does this sort of inspiration to reconnect with, you know, your creative self and have some time to yourself, and find your spark. That's why it's called Spark. And so she gives you little exercises every day, or little things to think about, or a podcast to listen to, some drawing exercises. And in the last week you will together draw a picture of a cute little cat in a basket. But I'll leave a link for you to check out. I'm sure it's not too late. It only started 2 days ago, and I'm really enjoying it. And the app is, you get it for free. I think after 3 months it's $2.99 a month, but she will give you a warning way ahead of time to cancel it if you don't want to continue with it. And I think it's just such a nice way to to focus a little bit on tapping into your creativity and give yourself a little bit of time every day to nurture that, because I think it's really good for your mental health, and just, you know, makes you feel good to create something. Right, that was it. Quite a long video for, well, I watch longer videos than this, but for me, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, and have a wonderful week. I love you lots. Bye.